Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome back to part 2 of our stationery box. And after this video went up, there were some ideas given that I think you would like, at least one that I thought was really good. So I've just always made boxes in this orientation and never thought about this. But since this book is sort of whatever you want to do, or since this box is whatever you want to do, you can totally do this in book orientation. This was mentioned. So instead of having your tags and things facing up, like I have them here, you could do the same thing, but turn them and take this and turn it this way so it opens like a book. And then you might not have the problem with things falling out the top. I don't think I'm going to have a huge issue with that anyway, but I thought that was a good suggestion and I wanted to tell you because it could certainly be done. All right. Oh, there was a second suggestion, which I just might take. And someone said that you could fill this up by adding taller tags behind it. I might do that too. I'm going to decorate these first and see how much space I have, and then we'll do that. All right. If you didn't watch part 1, I'll be sure to link it for you in the description and also in the iCard above. Today, I want to work on greeting cards. Here's why. 15 envelopes fit in the space I have, no problem. But I don't believe 15 cards are going to fit here. And that may be okay too, because I might want to give extra envelopes anyway. I always like to do that in case somebody makes a mistake when writing. But I'm going to work on the cards here today. So I need to make bases, design them, and get them done. So let's do greeting cards. So these are some greeting card bases that I have pre-cut. I've had these in my stash for a long time. I'm just going to run through and score these guys at 5.5 and then get them folded. And I want to see how much space they're going to take up in that box. And then I'll let you know how many I think I can do. Now, I don't do very ornate cards for these type of projects. I think a nice simple monogram, you know, something with maybe a little bit of color. I don't really go crazy, especially when I have to make so many cards for a project like this. So I don't know how many it's going to hold. We'll see. Let me get these scored, folded, and creased, and then we'll see what fits in the box. So this is 15 card bases, and they appear to lay in here just fine. And I'm not going to be adding a lot of dimension. As a matter of fact, I think I won't add any dimension. Then I can give her 15 cards, 15 envelopes, and we're good, right? I think that'll be good. So I think what I'll do is do a very simple addition, but glue it directly down to the card versus doing any foam, which is bonus. It'll save me some foam. So if I'm making a bunch of these as a gift, that's a good thing. And also some time. So let me see how we're going to design these. So for my next step, here's what I've done. I've punched for myself about 18 or 19 2-inch circle punches. And I did extra because if I mess any up, I won't have to repunch or stop the flow of the work, right? And I pulled from my monogram stamp set and I got this E. Now, you can do all kinds of stuff with the monogram sets, but the reason I'm using this E is because this E reminds me of my mom's handwriting. She does her little loop like this, and then this one comes back. It doesn't get quite as fancy here, but it comes back. And this always reminds me of her handwriting anyway, so that's why I'm going to use this one. So what I've done is I put one of my circles in the corner, and I just laid that E down in the center on my Misty. I'm using my Misty because it'll make this job go faster, but this is so easy. You don't really have to have a Misty for it, but I am going to ink this guy up and then send it over. Transfer that ink. And so that's what I'll be making 15 times. So for this next part, I went to my 6x6 pad because I want these pattern pages here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip that is 1 inch wide, and it's going to be the width of the card. So I probably should cut this down first. Let's cut this down to 4 1/4. These are not wasted. I will use these pieces on stuff. And then we're just going to cut these down to 1 inch. And I only need 15. And I thought I would use 2 different patterns because I thought it'd be pretty to have, like, I wanted them both to be floral, but having 2 different patterns would be nice. So like we'll alternate them, and every time she picks up one, it'll be a little bit different. So now I've got my initials, my little strips, and my card bases. I'm going to round the corners of the card bases. I think that'll make it look, you know, a little more, I don't know, professional maybe. I'm going to use the 1/2 inch side of my corner rounder. I'm just going to put those cards in there. I think I'm just going to round the bottoms. I just think that'll be pretty and kind of make it look like a little custom stationery set. So I'm going to run through and round the bottoms of all of these card bases. So there's that part. And now some assembly. So I'm going to bring my glue over. And here is my plan. I will use my cutting mat to help me line everything up. I'm going to stick this into one corner up here like so. And I'm going to take one of these little strips. I'm going to put some glue on it. The cool thing is if I want to flip this over, I can flip it over and use the check side as well. And then I'm just going to let my cutting mat tell me where these go. So I'm going about 1 inch up from the bottom, and I'm lining it up on both sides so I get a nice straight piece like so. And then this guy is going to get glued directly down too. I think I'm going to go in the center. I usually would go off to the, no, I got to go off to the side. It's my thing. It's what I do. So I'm going to glue this off to one side. The center's pretty too, but it's just not the way for me today. So we're going to go off to the side and glue that down. And again, I'm looking for flat. Couple reasons. This will be good because this way when Mom goes to mail it, she won't have to worry about any dimension or anything or paying any extra to mail it. And another reason is it'll fit in our box really well. Now, something I'm noticing, you might want to put a little extra something around here to kind of make that white really stand out. I'm not going to. I like it very simple. My mom's a very simple, clean line person, and I think she'll really enjoy these and she will get a lot of use out of them. So that's how I'm going to do mine. So I'm going to run through and do that and get these ready to go into the box. While I do these last two, I want to show you, I also started doing them kind of assembly line to kind of speed up the process. And I want to talk to you about this. I know these cards are simple, but I want to encourage you to make the cards fit the person you're giving them to. Because if you want this to be their stationery set, you want it to kind of, you know, fit them. So I was sitting here thinking, how would I do this different for different people? And one of the persons that came to mind was Brenda. If you know my friend Brenda, she is very, we call her our art gypsy. Like that's what she goes by on Instagram, is the art gypsy. And she would, I would probably make them much more ornate for Brenda. Not that that's, not like overdone or anything, but I would probably use much more, I don't know, many more colors, many more pieces or what have you, because it would fit Brenda. Where with my mom, this is simple and elegant, and that's how I see my mom, simple and elegant, and I think this works perfect for her. So just think about the person you're giving it to. Maybe you're making this stationery set for a gentleman, because look, they need to send thank you cards and things just like we do. So think about that and maybe make it more suited to them as well. Just think about that. Make it for the person you're giving it to. All right, now then. These should hopefully still fit because of how thin we made them. All right, so you're holding your breath because I don't know either, but look, it's perfect. They fit perfect. And the cool thing about rounding those corners is it gives her a place to stick her finger in there. Of course, she can just do this and pull one out pretty easy, but those fit perfect. Look how pretty. I love the white with the pops. I think that's so pretty. Now let's do our tags because that's the next thing I really need to decorate. I'm going to put something on here. I don't know what. We'll get there. But here I need to do these tags. That's my next biggest project. So let's do those. The first thing I'm going to do is going to take my large angle punch and punch 2 corners of these guys on the top to make them have that tag shape. And you can do more than one at a time. You might be thinking, why would you give tags in a stationery set? Well, let me tell you my thought process behind it. If you're a person who gives a gift, say you give a gift at a wedding shower, or you're going to send some, you know, you're going to package anything in any way, even if you're sending it in the mail, it's nice to have a little custom tag to go on it, either with your initial or with something else on it. I'm going to put initials on them because I think it's cute to have the initials and have everything kind of be so custom looking, and she can always write a little note on them or what have you. But in the comment section of my last video, some people asked what could you put instead of tags because their friend wasn't necessarily a tag person. Well, here's an idea, and I've done this in the past. You can make little 3x3 cards that can be used as, you know, gift cards, you know what I'm saying? So you can put it on there. You know what I'm talking about, those little 3x3 cards. And those would fit probably perfectly. And for people who don't need tags, little 3x3 cards would be great. You never know when you need a little card just to put, you know, on a gift or something. So, all right, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to round the bottom corners. I think it'll be cute. I think it'll match the cards very well. So I'm going to use that 1/2 inch corner round and round the bottom corners. And I've stacked a bunch up at one time, so it's a little thick. That's how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to use this tool, and I'm going to punch the holes using the 3/16 size. It's the middle hole on the punch. And I'm just going to take this little guy, and I'm going to eyeball how far down I want it to go. I'm going to use the corners of the tag to help me line it up. I'll show you what I mean. So the little points of my tag where I punched them, those are going to be my stopping point. Look, that's perfect. That's how I want those. So I'm going to keep going, do the rest of these like this. And if you want to, you could use one of those previous ones to help you line this up. So stack these guys up, put one of these on top, and then when you put this guy in, you can line it up over that hole, and then you know you're getting them all in the same spot. So those guys are all punched and ready to be decorated. Now, as you can imagine, I'm gonna do them very much like I just did the cards. I want them to match, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do is go through my little 6x6 pad and pick out what paper I wanna use for these. And I don't have to use that same pattern. I can pick a different one. I'm really tempted to use the check on the tags. I just think they'd be cute and they would kind of go with any gift wrap. That's what I'm gonna do. Because I used a piece of this one to finish off those cards. So I'm gonna do this. And then I'm going to go get me one more piece of it here and just cut some strips. I may not even need both of them because let me decide how big I want my strips to be. I'm feeling 1/2 inch. Yep, I think 1/2 inch is what we're going to do. So I need them to be 1/2 inch by 3 inches because that's how wide my card is or my tag is. So let's trim those. And if you remember, I have 20 tags because the box, the little area would hold that many. So I'm going to cut 20 strips and we'll see how many I can get out of this piece, which was not a whole piece, but I think I can get them out of it. Didn't you guys do that? I cut and then I move it off with my paper. I get so frustrated trying to pick it up with my fingers because I don't have fingernails. If I do this, they'll just run off to the side like that and it's perfect. So you guessed it, I'm gonna run through and glue these down. And again, I'm gonna use my cutting mat to help me line them up and get them pretty straight. So I'm just laying these in one corner and then I'll use the marks on the mat to show me where to put them down. So where on my cards, I went up 1 inch from the bottom, on my tags, I'm gonna go up 1/2 inch from the bottom, which will give us the same feel. So it's just one little square on my cutting mat up. Glue that into place. And I'm gonna do that on every one. And I'm just gonna use the buffalo check or the little gingham. Like I said, that way it'll match whatever gift wrap she's using because the black and white should go with most anything. All right, so I'm back to my Misty and I've put a tag in the corner with a magnet to hold it down. And I'm gonna be using this E directly onto the tag. I think that'll be pretty just like that right there. So I'm just gonna place that down and pick it up with the Misty. And then I'm going to ink this up and stamp all the way through with this little E. Now this is a thing in the South. I don't know about for you guys, but we monogram everything. If it sits still, it gets a monogram on it or an initial or something. And I think this will be really pretty. And I totally missed half of that with ink. Let me go back and do it. Any of you guys ever have those kind of days? I just totally didn't ink up half of that E. Let's do it again. I kind of freaked myself out with that ink that I got on there and it kind of made me pause, but there, we're good now. So I'm gonna run through and initial or stamp the initial on every one of these. You guys might not have heard, but my son got engaged this weekend, my 3rd son. Can you believe it? They just keep getting married off. But wouldn't this be a cute bridal gift? Because you know a bride's going to be having things that she needs to give, like gifts to her bridesmaids and cards she needs to send to say thank you and all of that kind of stuff. This would be a great bridal gift. I just thought about that. Even this paper pack, although this particular paper, Mente paper, has one called Marry Me. That would make this a beautiful bridal gift. I may have to consider that for Jenna. This will be a fun one to make for her. So leave in the comments below, if I do make that for Jenna as a gift, would you guys like to see that, or is this video enough to show you how to do it? Because I might make some changes, and I would probably use that Marry Me pack, but I think this would be a really sweet gift for a bride, and the more I think about it, the more I think she could get some use out of it, and I think I might do it. But tell me if you want me to film it. So those are my tags done and ready for the box. Now you could add to and from on the back if you wanted to of your tags. That would be cute too. I'm not going to because I think this way Mom can write a good size note if she wanted to, or she could always write to and from. So these will then go right down in here, and let's just hope they still fit. And look, they are perfect, and they're much more snug than they were. So you might be thinking, but you didn't put any ribbon or anything on those tags. Let me show you why. I have been sending with these kinds of gifts a roll of twine because I never know how much they're going to need. And I'm thinking there's nothing wrong with sending a roll of twine with this gift, right? So let me show you what I do. So on the end, what you'll do is you'll snip into that little cardboard piece and make a little slot. And then you can take your baker's twine and feed it into that slot, and it will hold it so it doesn't, I didn't do a very good job of that. Let me bring it up tighter. So it won't roll around and unravel in the box. And then when the recipient gets it, they will also know that that's what needs to happen. So I just do that, tuck it down inside of there, and this guy's gonna go in here. It will fit perfect in here. I can still put my stamps and my little pin, so they'll have their twine. Isn't that a cute idea? I like that. And twine's not so expensive, and plus, she can use this for a long time. I'll probably have to replace tags well before she's ever through with this. So that's how I'm doing my twine for the tags. All right, it's time to decorate here. It is time to decorate the front and the outside. So let me do some ciphering and we'll get right back together. So for this section here, I think I'm gonna treat it as one piece. And I have this piece left over, and I love how much check is in this box. It's not for everybody, but I'm a big fan of check, and my mom is too. I think I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna utilize it, and then I'm gonna add some greenery and flowers to it as well. Let me trim this off. I tell you what I need to do first. So I need to measure, because I need to know how tall this is. So that's 3 inches. So I think I'm going to cut this down to 2.5 so I can get 1/4 inch all the way around. So let me cut this down to 2.5 inches. And then I think this was already a good length. I think I already had like 1/4 inch off the sides. So I got lucky on that one. See, that's what I want to do. I'm going to treat this as one panel at the top. I think that'll be pretty. And I'm going to glue this directly down. And I actually want to glue it this way. I want that leaf to come from this side. So I think that's kind of cool. You don't have to treat this like one piece at the top. You can certainly treat it as two, but it's a good place for me to be able to put some pretties. So I'm going to do this just like so and stick that down onto my pieces. That'll also make that a little sturdier at the top. Isn't that pretty? Then what I want to do is I want to do some fussy cutting. So on here, I love this floral piece. I think it'd be pretty right there. So I think I'm going to fussy cut that out, and possibly some of these kind of palm looking leaves and kind of stick in there. Ooh, maybe this one because it's easier to get to. Let's do that one. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, fussy cut all those leaves. I'm not going to fussy cut all the leaves. I'm going to do what I call bubble cut around, and it will be just as pretty. I'm just going to run around and just let my scissors follow the shape, but I'm not cutting all the way to the leaves. There's just no sense in that. Plus, I like the white border it'll add because I'm going to be putting it on that check. It'll need to have something to help it stand out, and this way I won't even have to border it. I can just trim it out. Again, don't be afraid of your scissors. These are easy to do. You just run around, just spin the page, spin the paper in your scissors, and just follow these edges. And if you were to do this and be completely different than mine, no one would notice. No one's looking at your fussy cutting, I promise. We put a lot of pressure on that. And I know you see us do it on YouTube and it looks perfect on camera, but you know what? Camera hides a lot of stuff too. So I promise my fussy cutting is never perfect. But a lot of you guys go, oh, I could never fussy cut like you. Yes, you can. Just take your inhibitions down and go to town with your fussy cutting and just follow the shape. That's all I'm doing. This is one thing I love about this paper pack is how many pieces it gives me to fussy cut. I mean, I love stickers, don't get me wrong, and I'm never going to stop using stickers because I love them. But in here, when I don't have the stickers, it's still not a problem for me because I'll just take these guys and create my own. See how easy that was? And they'll have that white edge around it too. Perfect. All right, I'm going to do the same thing with these guys. Just kind of cut around them and put them on the page. All right, so I'm going to lay this out a little bit. I think this will be pretty kind of in this area. And then I did these palm leaves. I think they'll be pretty coming out from behind. And I did one leaf that was a different color because I thought I could add it here considering I have that green leaf right there. And that would just kind of decorate that. And I can always add more if I want to. Let me look and see if there's anything else I want to add. So check it out. I decided to take a cue from the paper and use some of these little pieces in here as well. So I love this dark green leaf, and I think it would be pretty up here to kind of carry that green over. But wouldn't it be cute to add these little pieces as well? So like the little planner, and then a pair of glasses on the planner, and maybe just a little cup of coffee, because I can just see my mom sitting down with her little address book and everything like that. Isn't that cute? So that's what I'm going to do here. So it looks like this one needs to go down first. So I'm just going to pick it up and glue it down into place. I love all the little cut aparts and how mindful they are. They're just so cute. Stick that down there. And then I think I will glue these guys into place before I put the flowers down. So this is the next lowest one. So let's glue it down. Notice I'm gluing them directly down. The reason for that is I don't want to add any bulk. I'm trying to keep any dimension out so this will close really nicely. So that's why I'm doing that. So straight down instead of adding any dimension in here. But I think the photos themselves add a good bit of dimension. Glasses are not covered up. And look how cute that is on there. I love it. All right, so that is the inside, or at least that portion done. I think I might want to put something pretty right here. Let me see what I've got that I can put right there. Look at this little cut apart I found that has the little notebook, the cell phone, the glasses, and the pens. I can't tell if I have it upside down or not. I think this is the way it goes. I think I'm also going to round the corners of it real quick. So I'm going to use my little 1/4 inch corner rounder just to break up the squareness a little bit. And I'm hoping it's going to fit right here. Look, it's perfect underneath the tags. And it'll go just like that. I just think that is so cute. I keep putting it upside down because I want that notebook to go the other way. But look at that. Isn't that cute? That is adorable right there. So I'm going to glue that down right there. This reminds me of my mom. Like she would maybe sit down with her little notes, her pens. And the funny thing is she's left-handed, so this notebook being backwards is probably a thing. I don't know that because I'm not left-handed. But she might get that spiral out of her way so she can write anyway. So isn't that cute? I love that right there. Just adds a little something, doesn't it? Maybe something here. Let's see. So I had this strip left over from something that I cut to put in here somewhere, probably for the cards or what have you. And I think it'd be pretty to kind of tie it from here to the edge as far as it'll go. It's a strip. I don't want to waste it. And look how that brings some of that floral up there to the top. Isn't that pretty? I like it. Okay, I'm going to stop on the inside for now, and I'm going to head to the outside. But I'm also going to stop on this video. So this is part 2, and then part 3 will be Saturday. This is closing really well. If I added anything else, I might run into an issue because you can see there's a little bit of a gap, and that's going to be because of those pieces that I just put on. I am sure it is because of these guys putting a little pressure here, but that's why you wanted to go super flat right there, okay? So I'm going to call that today's part 2, and then Saturday we will finish this box by doing the outside, and that gives me a little time to think how I want this to go. I hope you're enjoying this box. I really am. I think my mom's really going to love it, and we'll be able to refill it year after year, and it's kind of timeless and classic. And don't worry, I'm going to bring the pen in the next video, and I don't know if I have any stamps. If I do, I'll put some in here. If I don't, I'll get them before I give it to her. So there you go, guys. Part 2. It's finally getting pretty, right? It's finally getting there. All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, subscribe. I don't know if you know this or not, but subscriptions to YouTube are free, but what it does is it lets you get information about whenever I'm posting videos by subscribing and then clicking the little bell. That bell will let you set up where you can get notification when a new video comes out. Also, like the video by hitting the thumbs up. If you make this or in the process of making it, you know I want to see it over on my webpage at maymaymadeit.com in the customer gallery section. So post pictures and let me see what you're doing. Thanks so much, guys. Until next time, bye-bye.